Hello everyone, salut à tous, welcome back to my channel. I'm Stalin, je m'appelle Stalin. Hope you guys doing well, and today I'm back with a new video that is helpful for French learning, and it's also helpful for TEF exam. It's about connecteurs, logiques, avancés, some connectors that's going to help you in speaking and writing, and it's going to help you to reach from B1 to C1 level if you're going to use it in your speaking and writing. And if you guys like my videos, make sure to subscribe my channel, share it with your friends who are learning French or who are planning to give TEF exam. And also if anybody is learning English, you can share my channel with them, and also do comment. So let's get started with our today's video without any delay. In the first word, we're gonna learn some vocabulary words, connectors that you can use when you want to add an idea, ajouter une idée. So the first connector that you can use is et, which means and. Another one is de plus, which means moreover. Or you can use et autre, in addition. Or you can use non seulement mais aussi, not only but also. Maintenant, répétez après moi. Et, de plus, et autre, non seulement mais aussi. For example, il est intelligent et travailleux, de plus, il est ponctuel. You see how with the connectors, the sentence become more complicated and more effective. Now, in the second part, we're gonna learn some connectors which you're gonna use for expliquer or reformuler, for explaining or restating something. For example, the first one is c'est-à-dire, that is to say, or autrement dit, in other words, autrement dit. Or you can say un des autres termes, in other terms. Maintenant, répétez après moi. C'est-à-dire, autrement dit, et des autres termes. For example, il est végétalien, c'est-à-dire qu'il ne mange aucun produit animal. He is vegetarian, that is to say that he doesn't eat any animal product. You see how it makes the sentence long and more impactful. Now, in the third part, we're gonna learn the connectors for contraster ou opposer, means contrasting or opposing connectors. The first one is mais, which means but. Or you can use cependant or pourtant, which means however. Or you can use en revanche, on the other hand. Or you can use tandis que or alors que, which means whereas. Maintenant, répétez après moi. Mais, cependant, pourtant, en revanche, tandis que, alors que. For example, il aime parler en public, tandis que je préfère écouter. He likes to speak in public, whereas I prefer listening. You see, in this way, you can make your sentence more impactful. Now, in the next part, we're gonna learn the connectors for exprimer la cause et la conséquence, which is useful when you want to add cause and consequence to your sentence. For example, the first one is parce que, or car, which means because, or you can use comme, which means since. You can use it at beginning, or you can use donc, which means so, therefore. You can use anywhere you want to say add so in the sentence, or you want to add therefore in the sentence, or par conséquent, consequently, or c'est pourquoi, that's why. Maintenant, répétez après moi, parce que, car, comme, donc, par conséquent, c'est pourquoi. For example, il faisait froid, donc je suis restée à la maison. It was cold, so I stayed at home. And in our last part, we're gonna learn some connectors for conclure ou résumer, to conclude or summarize. The first one is un résumé, which means in summary. Or you can use un somme, which means all in all. Or you can use bref, in short, or briefly. Or you can use pour conclure, to conclude. Or finalement, which means finally. Maintenant, répétez après moi un résumé, un somme, bref, pour conclure, finalement. For example, un somme, cette décision a été bénéfique pour tout le monde. All in all, this decision beneficial for whole world or for everybody. Now we're gonna practice some sentences, which is gonna be examples of using French connectors, how you can make them from a basic sentence to an impactful sentence with French connectors. The first one is example for addition, where you want to add something. You can use et, de plus, un autre. An example of a basic sentence. Il a un chien. Il a un chat. He has a dog. He has a cat. Now, that is a basic sentence. You write it down in two sentences. Now, how we can make it more impactful? Il a un chien et un chat. He has a dog and a cat. Or you can say, il a un chien, de plus, il a un chat. So you see how you can make it from basic sentence to more powerful and good sentence using the connectors. Now, the example for explanation sentence. For example, a basic sentence, je suis végétalien, je ne mange pas de viande. I am vegetarian, I don't eat meat. Now, how we can make it more compound sentence? Je suis végétalien, c'est-à-dire que je ne mange pas de viande. The next is the opposition. For example, a basic sentence, elle travaille beaucoup, elle n'est pas de bons résultats. She works a lot, she doesn't has good results. How we can make it more good? Elle travaille beaucoup, mais elle n'est pas de bons résultats. She works a lot, but she hasn't good results. Or, elle travaille beaucoup, cependant, elle n'a pas de bons résultats. You see how it's more good and more impactful. The next one is example for cause and effect connectors. Il pleut, je reste à la maison. It rains, I stay at home. That is just two common sentences, basic sentences, how we can make it more good. Il pleut, donc je reste à la maison. It rains, so I stay at home. Or, il pleut, c'est pourquoi je reste chez moi. That's the importance of using the connectors, that it helps you to build bridge between two sentences, which is more impactful when you're doing speaking practice or if you're writing a paragraph or a letter. The next example is for the conclusion. For example, a basic sentence, je n'aime pas ce livre, il est trop long et il est ennuyeux. I don't like this book. It's very long and it's boring. Now, those are three different basic sentences. How we can combine them. Ce livre est trop long et ennuyeux. Un résumé, je ne l'aime pas. And the last one is for the reformulation or clarification example. Il est fâché, il n'a pas d'argent. He's broke, he doesn't have money. How we can make it more good? Il est fâché, autrement dit, il n'a pas d'argent. He's broke, in other words, he doesn't have money. So these are the all connectors that you can use in your speaking, in your writing, that's gonna help you to be more good in French. And hope you guys like my today's video. If you like my content, make sure to share it with your friends. And do subscribe to my channel, do like, do comment, and also try to make sentences using these connectors. Write it down below in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Merci beaucoup. Au revoir.